My beloved child, today is not an ordinary day, and December 17th is not marked by chance. Archangel Michael steps forward with urgency, authority, and precision, saying, I order you to open this right now. This is not symbolic. This is not poetic. This is a direct command tied to your house, your address, and the unseen atmosphere around your home. A surprising news is already moving toward you, and if you delay, you may miss the moment it is meant to arrive. What you are about to hear carries weight, and once you hear it, nothing around you will look the same again. Listen carefully, because Archangel Michael is not whispering today, he is declaring. He says that something had been sealed, paused, and held back, waiting for this exact date. December 17th acts like a key in the spiritual realm. The moment you opened this message, a door responded. That is why your spirit felt a pull, even before your mind understood why you clicked. This is not curiosity. This is alignment. And the order to open this right now is because timing is critical. Beloved, Archangel Michael reveals that your home has been a battleground silently, without noise, without visible signs. You may have sensed heaviness, delays, unexplained tension, or a feeling that something was almost about to happen but never fully arrive. That was not imagination. That was resistance. But hear this clearly. Resistance has reached its expiration. The authority of heaven has now overridden it. The surprising news coming to your home will not arrive the way you expect. It will not come wrapped in drama or chaos. Instead, it will appear sudden, calm, and decisive, like a message, a call, a document, or a conversation that instantly shifts your reality. Archangel Michael says this news carries both relief and exposure. Relief for you. Exposure for what has been hidden around you. There is something important about your house itself. Not just the people in it, but the walls, the doors, the rooms where you have prayed silently, cried privately, or waited patiently. Archangel Michael has been standing guard at your door longer than you realize. He says, I did not allow destruction to cross your threshold, even when you felt unprotected. That protection is now turning into promotion. Today, December 17th, marks a reversal of authority. Someone or something that had influence over your home, through words, opinions, paperwork, or spiritual pressure, is losing control. That is why the command is strong, open immediately. Heaven does not want hesitation. Heaven wants obedience. Do not dismiss this message as coincidence. The reason you were drawn here is because the news approaching your home requires awareness. Archangel Michael says that if you open your heart now, you will recognize the sign when it arrives. If you ignore this, you may still receive the news, but you will not understand its full power. There is also a warning wrapped in this message, but not one meant to frighten you. It is meant to prepare you. Archangel Michael reveals that someone connected to your household has been withholding truth, not necessarily out of evil but out of fear. This truth has delayed progress. Once the surprising news arrives, this hidden layer will surface naturally. You will not have to confront anyone aggressively. The truth will expose itself. Notice how specific this feels, because it is. This message is not for everyone scrolling. It is for the one whose spirit just tightened when hearing your home. That reaction is confirmation. Archangel Michael says the atmosphere over your house is shifting from waiting to receiving. You may have felt recently that your prayers were repeating themselves, like echoes without answers. But heaven heard every word. The delay was strategic. What is coming now needed maturity, clarity, and readiness. That is why the command comes now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, But today, Archangel Michael stands as a warrior of order. When he says, "I order you," it is not domination, it is protection. He is preventing confusion. He is preventing fear. He is preventing sabotage. The moment the news reaches you, you will understand why things had to unfold this way. Stay alert today. Be present. Pay attention to messages, knocks, notifications, and conversations that feel unexpected. Not everything loud is important, and not everything quiet is small. The surprising news may appear subtle, but its impact will be lasting. Beloved child, this is only the beginning of what is being unlocked around your home. What is opening now cannot be closed again. The authority backing this message is not human. It is divine. And as this unfolds, remember this feeling, this moment of knowing. Because once you recognize how heaven speaks to you today, you will never doubt it again. Something is already moving, and you were meant to open this, right now. Chosen one. As this message continues, Archangel Michael draws your attention deeper, not outward, but inward. He says the reason the surprising news is coming to your home is because something inside you has already shifted. Before doors open in the natural, alignment happens in the unseen. That quiet inner change you felt recently, where you stopped reacting the same way, stopped chasing validation, or stopped explaining yourself, that was preparation. Heaven never releases news without first stabilizing the receiver. Archangel Michael reveals that your home had been under observation, not judgment, but evaluation. Angels are assigned not only to people, but to places. Your house carries spiritual records. The prayers whispered late at night, the tears wiped before anyone noticed, the moments when you almost gave up but didn't, every one of those moments built a case in your favor. That is why the news coming now is surprising. You stopped expecting it, and that is exactly when heaven moves. There is something important you must understand. This news is not random blessing. It is restoration. Something that was supposed to reach your home earlier was intercepted by delay, confusion, or interference. Archangel Michael says, "I have now cleared the path." The order to open immediately was also an order for acceleration. What was slow will move fast. What required effort will now require agreement. You may notice today that your environment feels different. Conversations sound different. Even silence feels lighter. That is because authority has shifted. The one who was causing tension indirectly, through opinions, through paperwork, through influence, no longer holds the upper hand. You don't need to confront. You don't need to defend. Heaven is handling this with precision. Archangel Michael also warns you gently, do not overthink the form of the news. Some are expecting money, others expecting apology, others expecting confirmation. But what comes first is clarity. Clarity brings peace, and peace brings provision. The news may answer a question you stopped asking out loud. When it arrives, you will recognize it instantly, not by excitement, but by calm certainty. This is also a moment of responsibility. Archangel Michael says that once the news reaches your home, the way you speak must change. Complaints will no longer match your atmosphere. That will feel uncomfortable. Not because you are pretending, but because you are transitioning. You are moving from survival language to authority language. Speak accordingly. Beloved, there is a reason you are still listening. Messages like this don't hold attention unless the spirit is involved. That is why this channel matters. That is why this word is reaching across borders and screens to find you. If this message is resonating, do not keep it to yourself. When you like this video, When you share it, when you comment, you are not just supporting content, you are signaling agreement. Agreement accelerates manifestation. Archangel Michael encourages you to create space for what is coming. Space is not always physical. Sometimes it means releasing old expectations. Sometimes it means letting go of how you thought it would happen. Subscribing to this channel is more than routine. It is alignment with messages that arrive on time, not late. Stay connected, because consistency keeps you sensitive to divine timing. There is also collective aspect here. Others connected to your home will benefit from this shift, even if they don't understand it yet. Children, partners, relatives, they may not know why things feel different, but they will feel safer. That is because peace is moving in, and peace always announces itself quietly. Archangel Michael stands now with sword lowered, not in battle stance, but in guard. He says, "What I have opened, I will protect." That means once the news arrives, no one can reverse it. No rumor, no second opinion, no delay tactic. It is sealed by authority. If you feel prompted, comment under this video with a simple acknowledgement. It anchors the word. It tells your spirit you are ready to receive. And if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed, because what follows after this moment will require continuity. Missing the next revelation could create confusion, and heaven prefers clarity for you. Something is unfolding layer by layer. Today is only the announcement. The full picture will reveal itself step by step. Stay aware. Stay grounded. And most importantly, stay open. Because the door that is opening for your home was never meant to scare you. It was meant to finally let light in. My precious one. As Archangel Michael continues to speak, the atmosphere grows more focused, more intentional. He says this phase is about recognition. Not recognition from people, but recognition within your spirit. The surprising news coming to your home is not only meant to change circumstances, it is meant to awaken discernment. You are about to see clearly what you once only sensed faintly. And once clarity arrives, confusion will never be able to rule you again. Archangel Michael reveals that for a long time, your home has been surrounded by mixed signals. One day hope felt strong, the next day doubt crept in. One moment you felt protected, the next you questioned everything. That instability did not come from you. It came from unresolved spiritual tension. But today, December 17th, that tension is being addressed at the root. Heaven does not trim branches when the issue is in the foundation. The news approaching your home carries a dividing line. After it arrives, certain patterns will no longer repeat. Certain conversations will lose their power. Certain fears will simply stop visiting you. You won't have to fight them. They will recognize that you are no longer available to host them. This is what Archangel Michael means by authority being restored. There is also something deeply personal about this message. Archangel Michael says you have been underestimated, not loudly, but quietly. People assumed you would always adjust, always wait, always compromise. Heaven saw that differently. Heaven saw endurance. Heaven saw restraint. Heaven saw wisdom forming while others thought nothing was happening. And now, the surprising news becomes heaven's response to every silent assumption made about you. Do not rush the moment when the news arrives. Take it in fully. Let it settle. Archangel Michael warns against immediately explaining it to others. Not everyone needs access to what God is doing in your home. Some doors open best in silence. Some victories grow stronger when protected early. You may notice after today that your intuition sharpens. You will sense when to speak and when to stay quiet. when to move and when to wait. That is not coincidence. That is training. Archangel Michael is not only delivering news, he is mentoring you in discernment. Hold on, because what unfolds next connects everything you have been through up to this point. Moments that felt wasted will make sense. Delays that frustrated you will reveal their purpose. This is one of those rare intersections where past, present, and future line up. You will want to stay attentive, because missing this understanding would mean missing peace that is meant to last. Archangel Michael also speaks a blessing over your home now. He says peace will not visit occasionally. Peace will reside. It means sleep will feel deeper. Conversations will feel calmer. Decisions will feel lighter. This is not because life becomes perfect, but because your foundation becomes stable. There is an instruction here. When the news arrives, respond with gratitude before strategy. Gratitude acknowledges the source. Strategy can wait. Heaven responds quickly to hearts that recognize divine timing. This message is not meant to rush you, but it is meant to anchor you. If your spirit is resonating, type your acknowledgement in the comments. It is a sign of agreement, not for others, but for yourself. And remain connected here, because continuity matters when God is unfolding something step by step. Now receive this activation carefully. Type "I receive divine clarity" in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 919 has just been released over your home. And hear this final word as this phase closes. If this message has reached you at the exact moment you needed reassurance, know that it did not happen by accident. This channel exists for moments like this, to release timely words that reach homes, not crowds. This is where I speak to you directly. When you choose to support this mission through super thanks, membership, or even a PayPal gift from the link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are sowing into souls that are waiting for light to reach their homes, just like it reached yours today. God says in His Word that when you release seed into good ground, He commands a harvest you did not plan for. This seed becomes oil that keeps the lamp burning, fire that keeps the message moving, and bread that feeds hearts across the world. I am inviting you into this moment intentionally, because this act of giving aligns with the very theme of this message, opening doors. What you release now becomes a prophetic response, not a donation. I speak blessing over every giver, that what you open for God, He will open for you in ways that surprise your household. Obey this prompting now. So where the word found you. Beloved one, as the message deepens, Archangel Michael shifts the focus from what is coming to how you are being positioned. He says that many people desire good news, but few are prepared to steward it. That is why heaven has been working quietly on your character, your patience, and your discernment. The surprising news coming to your home is not just an event, it is an assignment. It will place you in a new posture, one that requires calm strength rather than emotional reaction. Archangel Michael reveals that in the past, when something unexpected happened, your first instinct was to worry about what could go wrong. That instinct was shaped by past disappointments, not by lack of faith. Heaven understands this. That is why this message is unfolding in layers. God is reteaching your nervous system how to rest while receiving. Peace is becoming your default response. There is something else being addressed now. Your identity within your own home. For a long time, you may have felt like the stabilizer, the one who holds things together while others lean, question, or withdraw. Archangel Michael says this role is shifting. You are not losing importance, you are gaining support. The news that arrives will redistribute weight. What rested heavily on you will now be shared or removed entirely. Pay attention to your dreams during this time. Archangel Michael often communicates through symbols when the conscious mind is too busy to listen. You may see doors, letters, unfamiliar rooms, or conversations that feel unfinished. These are not random images. They are previews. Heaven is allowing you to adjust emotionally before the physical manifestation arrives. There is also a recalibration happening in how you trust. Trust does not mean blind acceptance. It means discerned confidence. After today, you will find yourself trusting differently. Not everyone will get the same access. Not every voice will carry the same weight. This is maturity, not isolation. Archangel Michael is teaching you how to guard what God gives without becoming closed off. The atmosphere in your home will begin to reflect this shift. Even if nothing outward changes immediately, the tone will. Arguments will lose intensity. Silence will feel less threatening. You may notice that you respond slower, but wiser. That is authority settling in. Archangel Michael speaks now about timing. He says that the surprising news is not early and not late. It is precise. If it had come earlier, it would have overwhelmed you. If it came later, it would have frustrated you. But now, you are balanced enough to receive it without fear and grounded enough to act without panic. Do not be surprised if someone from the past reappears in some form around this time. Not necessarily to stay, but to close a chapter. Closure does not always come with apology. Sometimes it comes with understanding. Sometimes it comes simply with peace. That peace is part of the package being delivered to your home. Archangel Michael also reminds you that not all surprises are loud. Some arrive as clarity. Some arrive as relief. Some arrive as the sudden absence of stress you carried for so long that you forgot what life felt like without it. Measure the news not by excitement, but by the peace that follows it. As this unfolds, remain observant, not anxious. Observation allows wisdom to speak. Anxiety drowns it out. Heaven is not testing you now. Heaven is rewarding consistency. Every time you chose patience over panic, humility over pride, faith over fear, it was recorded. You may feel a new sense of responsibility toward your space. Cleaning, rearranging, organizing, not out of restlessness but out of readiness. This is instinctive. When something new is coming, the soul prepares the environment. Follow that leading gently. Archangel Michael stands firm in his declaration. What is entering your home will not steal your peace. It will protect it. That is why this message carries assurance rather than urgency now. The command to open was for alignment. The unfolding is for stability. Let this truth settle in you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be for what is arriving. And as this awareness anchors itself in your spirit, you will notice something subtle but powerful. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are standing ready to receive. My dear one, Archangel Michael now turns your attention to something you may not have considered yet. The shift in authority that is happening within you, not around you. He says the surprising news coming to your home is only the surface layer. Beneath it, a deeper recalibration is taking place. You are no longer responding to life from a place of defense. You are beginning to respond from a place of certainty. That change alone alters outcomes before they even arrive. For a long time, you lived with an inner question mark. Even when things went well, you waited for the other shoe to drop. Even when peace visited, you wondered how long it would last. Archangel Michael says this mindset was not weakness, it was conditioning. But now, heaven is removing that question mark and replacing it with a period. Oblivion. finality, assurance. The news approaching your home carries confirmation. Not just confirmation that God heard you, but confirmation that you interpreted Him correctly. There were moments when you doubted your own discernment. You asked yourself if you imagined the signs, the nudges, the inner checks. Archangel Michael says, you were not wrong. You were early. And now, reality is catching up to revelation. This is also a season where your voice changes, not in volume but in weight. When you speak now, people will listen differently. Not because you demand attention, but because truth carries authority when it is seasoned with patience. You have waited long enough to speak without urgency, and that restraint has given your words power. Archangel Michael is also healing disappointment you didn't label as disappointment. You told yourself you were fine. You told yourself it didn't matter. But the body remembers what the mouth minimizes. That is why peace is being restored at a deeper level. When the surprising news arrives, it will not reopen old wounds. Instead, it will gently close them. Be mindful of how you interpret signs during this time. Not everything needs analysis. Some things need acceptance. Overanalyzing delays peace. Acceptance invites it. Archangel Michael says trust the simplicity of what unfolds. If it feels clean, it is God. If it feels heavy, pause. Discernment is becoming effortless for you. There may be a moment soon when you are tempted to explain yourself to someone who does not need an explanation. Resist that urge. Silence will protect what words cannot. Not every victory requires validation. Some victories are meant to be lived, not announced. Archangel Michael also reveals that the surprising news is connected to provision, but not only financial. Provision includes time, energy, clarity, and support. Something that drained you will no longer have access. Something that required constant effort will now flow with less resistance. This is not luck. This is alignment. Notice how your reactions are slowing down. That is not hesitation, that is wisdom. When urgency leaves, clarity enters. You are no longer rushing to secure outcomes. You are allowing outcomes to meet you where you stand. There is also a strengthening of boundaries happening. You will feel less guilty for saying no, less pressure to overextend, less responsibility for fixing what is not yours to fix. Archangel Michael says this is protection, not selfishness. What is coming to your home requires preserved energy. As the days unfold, you may feel moments of quiet joy with no obvious cause. Let them come. That joy is evidence that something has already shifted beneath the surface. Heaven often changes the inner climate before altering the outer environment. Archangel Michael stands now not as a warrior, but as a witness. He is watching what unfolds with approval. He says, "This one learned how to wait without hardening." That is rare. And because it is rare, it is rewarded. Do not measure progress by speed right now. Measure it by stability. If you feel grounded, you are moving correctly. If you feel frantic, pause. Heaven is not in a hurry, but it is always on time. The surprising news is closer than it appears. Not because of signs outside you, but because of the readiness within you. Readiness attracts fulfillment. Let this part of the message settle deeply. You are not preparing for loss. You are preparing for stewardship. And stewardship begins with peace. What is entering your home will meet you calm, aware, and ready, not fearful, not rushed, not doubting. That is the transformation Archangel Michael has been guiding all along. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now speaks with a steadier tone, not because the message is weakening, but because you are strengthening. He says this stage is about confirmation through repetition. You may begin to notice similar words, themes, or signs appearing from different directions, conversations, scriptures, thoughts, even quiet realizations. This is not coincidence. This is reinforcement. Heaven repeats what it intends to establish. The surprising news moving toward your home is surrounded by alignment. That means pieces that once felt disconnected are starting to link together. What confused you before will soon feel obvious. You will look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Not the waiting, not the silence, not even the disappointments. They were all shaping your capacity to receive without fear. Archangel Michael highlights something important. You are learning how to hold good things without bracing for loss. That alone marks maturity. In earlier seasons, joy felt temporary to you. You enjoyed it cautiously, almost apologetically. But now, heaven is teaching you how to rest in blessing without suspicion. When the news arrives, it will feel natural, not shocking, because your spirit has already adjusted. There is also a cleansing happening in how you remember the past. Memories that once carried pain are losing their sting. You may still remember what happened, but it no longer controls your emotions. That is healing. And healing is necessary before elevation, because unhealed memories can sabotage new beginnings. Archangel Michael says your home is becoming a place of refuge, not tension. People who enter will feel calmer, even if they don't know why. That is because peace leaves an imprint. You are becoming a carrier of that peace, not by effort, but by overflow. As this unfolds, do not isolate yourself. Stay connected. Messages like this are part of a sequence, and consistency matters. When you engage, by liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs reassurance, or commenting in agreement, you are participating in the flow, not just observing it. Subscribing is not routine here. It keeps you aligned with words that arrive when timing matters most. Archangel Michael also urges you not to downplay what God is doing. Humility does not mean minimizing blessing. It means recognizing the source. When the surprising news reaches your home, allow yourself to receive it fully. Gratitude honors heaven. Silence honors discernment. Balance honors wisdom. There may be a moment when doubt tries to resurface, whispering, "What if this doesn't last?" Recognize that voice for what it is, habit, not truth. You are not returning to old cycles. You are closing them. Trust me, what unfolds next ties everything together in a way you did not expect. This is one of those moments where understanding arrives suddenly, and once it does, you cannot unsee it. Stay present. This is where clarity deepens. Archangel Michael now speaks directly to your sense of purpose. He says that the surprising news is connected to direction. Something will become clear about where you belong, what deserves your energy, and what no longer does. Decision-making will feel easier because confusion is lifting. You are also being protected from premature exposure. Not everyone will know what is happening in your home, and that is intentional. Some blessings grow best away from noise. Let privacy guard what publicity would weaken. As days move forward, watch how your confidence changes. You will stop seeking reassurance for decisions you already know are right. That is authority settling in. And authority does not announce itself, it is recognized. Archangel Michael reassures you once more. Nothing about this process is accidental. You were guided here because you were ready to hear, not because you were desperate. That distinction matters. Remain attentive, remain grounded, and remain connected. What is unfolding is layered, and each layer brings more peace, not more pressure. And as you stay engaged with this message and this space, You position yourself to receive each unfolding clearly, without confusion. Something is aligning beautifully behind the scenes. You don't need to rush it. You only need to stay open. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to a quieter but deeper movement taking place within your home and within your heart. He says the stage is about stabilization. When something new approaches, the soul must learn how to remain steady while receiving it. That is why you may feel less emotional intensity lately, not because you are disconnected, but because you are grounded. Grounded people receive clearly. The surprising news that is approaching your home is not meant to disrupt your life. It is meant to organize it. Order is a heavenly principle, and Archangel Michael is a guardian of order. He says confusion will not be allowed to coexist with what is coming. Anything in your life that thrives on uncertainty will quietly fade. You will not have to force it out. It will simply no longer fit. There is also a strengthening of trust happening between you and God. Not the kind of trust that demands constant signs, but the kind that rests even when nothing is visible. The trust has been built slowly, through moments when you kept going without answers. Archangel Michael says those moments mattered more than you know. They taught you how to walk without leaning on outcomes. You may notice now that you are less reactive to other people's moods, opinions, or expectations. What once pulled you into emotional turbulence now barely touches you. This is not indifference. It is discernment. You are learning the difference between what requires compassion and what requires boundaries. A distinction will protect the peace entering your home. Archangel Michael reveals that the surprising news will also validate a decision you made in the past that others questioned. You may have wondered privately if you chose correctly. When the news arrives, it will quietly answer that question. You will know, without needing affirmation, that you listened well. That knowing will bring relief. There is also a restoration of dignity happening. Dignity is not pride. It is self-respect rooted in truth. For a long time, you tolerated situations that drained you because you believed endurance was your assignment. Endurance had its season, but now wisdom is taking the lead. Archangel Michael says you are no longer required to prove your strength by suffering. As this unfolds, you may feel a desire to simplify your life. Fewer explanations, fewer commitments, fewer emotional negotiations. This simplification is not withdrawal, it is refinement. When something valuable is being added, unnecessary weight must be removed. Heaven is lightening your load. Pay attention to how your body responds during this time. Tension may release from places you didn't realize were tight. Breathing may feel deeper. Sleep may feel more restorative. These are signs that your system is aligning with peace. The body often receives the message before the mind understands it. Archangel Michael also speaks about timing again, but from a different angle. He says patience is no longer being tested. It is being rewarded. That means you don't need to brace yourself for another long wait. The rhythm is changing. Movement will feel more natural, less forced. When action is required, it will feel obvious. You may find yourself revisiting old thoughts with new eyes. Things that once felt confusing now appear simple. This is clarity settling in. Clarity does not shout. It stabilizes. And stability is what allows blessing to remain. There is something else important here. The surprising news will not demand that you become someone else. It will meet you as you are now. The version of you that has been refined, softened, strengthened, and grounded. You are not being asked to rise to an unrealistic expectation. You have already grown into the capacity to receive. Archangel Michael stands watchfully and says, This one is ready to hold peace without fear of losing it. That statement carries weight. Peace that is feared is fragile. Peace that is trusted becomes permanent. Do not rush to interpret everything immediately. Some understanding will come later, and that is fine. Trust the unfolding. Trust that what you need to know will arrive when it can be carried without stress. You are entering a phase where steadiness becomes your greatest strength. Not excitement, not urgency, steadiness. And steadiness attracts favor because it signals maturity. As this part of the message settles, take a moment to recognize how far you have come. Not in achievements, but in inner posture. You no longer chase reassurance. You no longer fear silence. You no longer equate waiting with failure. The transformation is not small. It is the very reason the door to your home is opening now. What is coming will find you calm, anchored, and ready to receive, not because you tried harder, but because you learned how to trust deeper. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now steps forward with a presence that feels both gentle and commanding. He says this stage is about unveiling, not exposure meant to harm, but revelation meant to heal. The surprising news approaching your home will illuminate something that was unclear for a long time. Not everything hidden is evil. Some things are hidden simply because the time was not right. Now, the time is right. You may feel a sense of anticipation without anxiety. That is intentional. Anticipation energizes, anxiety drains. Heaven is teaching you the difference. Archangel Michael says that what is unfolding will answer a question you stopped asking because you learned how to live without the answer. That restraint impressed heaven. You did not demand. You did not manipulate. You trusted. There is also a relational shift happening alongside this news. Some connections will deepen, not because people change, but because truth becomes easier to speak. Other connections may naturally distance, not out of conflict, but out of misalignment. This is not loss. This is refinement. What belongs with you will remain without effort. Archangel Michael reveals that the surprising news carries an element of vindication, but not the loud kind. This vindication will not require you to explain yourself or prove anything. It will simply be evident. Those who misunderstood you will quietly adjust their perception. Those who doubted you will reconsider. And you will not feel the need to respond, because peace will already have spoken for you. Be aware of subtle confirmations during this time. Small details lining up. Conversations that answer thoughts you never spoke. These are markers along the path, reminding you that you are not walking alone. Heaven is attentive to detail, especially when it comes to homes that have caring prayer. Wait for it, because what unfolds next carries a layer of meaning that connects directly to your future decisions. This is not just about what is coming, but about how you will move afterward. Direction is being clarified. Confusion is dissolving. Archangel Michael also speaks to your sense of worth. He says you no longer need to earn rest. Rest is becoming your foundation, not your reward. That shift changes everything. From rest, decisions are wiser. From rest, boundaries are clearer. From rest, blessing is sustained. There may be a moment soon when you realize that something you feared no longer has power over you. It may surprise you how little emotional reaction it creates. That is growth. That is healing. That is readiness. As this awareness settles, Archangel Michael releases a ritual of agreement. Type "I am ready" to receive in the comments if this message aligns with your spirit. Lesson code 1441 is now activated over your home. And now, hear this transition carefully, because it flows directly from what has just been revealed. When heaven opens doors quietly, it looks for willing hands to help keep them open for others. This is where I speak to you not as a viewer but as a carrier of light. If this word reached your home at the exact moment you needed clarity, understand that it did not stop with you. There are countless homes still waiting for reassurance, still sitting in silence, still wondering if God sees them. When you release support through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed using the link in the description, you are placing oil in the lamp that keeps this message moving. God is speaking now, saying that those who sow into the spreading of His word become partners in the harvest, not spectators. I feel led to invite you personally in this moment, because this act of giving mirrors the theme of this message, responding when heaven says open. What you release now becomes a prophetic action. I declare that every giver will see unexpected provision touch their household, just as light has touched yours. Do not delay this obedience. Act now. Sow into the work that found you, and let God multiply it back to you in ways only He can. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now invites you into a deeper awareness of what stability truly means. He says many people confuse stability with stagnation, but heaven sees it differently. Stability is the ability to stand firm while life continues to move. And this is exactly what is being established in your home right now. The surprising news that has been approaching is not meant to shake your foundation. It is meant to rest upon it. You may notice that your emotional responses are becoming more measured. Situations that once triggered immediate concern now invite reflection instead. This is not because you care less, but because you trust more. Archangel Michael explains that trust is no longer something you are trying to practice. It is something that has been built into you through experience. That is why this season feels different. You are not guessing anymore. You are discerning. There is also a realignment happening between your expectations and God's timing. In the past, unmet expectations caused disappointment because you believed they reflected denial. Now, you understand they often reflected preparation. This understanding has softened your heart and strengthened your faith simultaneously. Heaven values that balance. Archangel Michael reveals that after the surprising news reaches your home, you will notice a shift in how you plan. Plans will feel less rigid and more responsive. You will no longer cling tightly to one outcome. Instead, you will hold vision with open hands, trusting that what unfolds will be guided. This flexibility is wisdom, not uncertainty. Pay attention to conversations during this time. People may begin to speak more honestly around you, not because you demand it, but because your presence feels safe. Safety invites truth, and truth clears pathways. This is part of your role now, not to fix others, but to create space where clarity can exist. There is also an internal settling happening regarding identity. You are no longer defined by what you endured. You are being defined by how you emerged. Archangel Michael says this distinction matters. Survival kept you moving. Emergence positions you to receive. You are no longer just getting through life. You are beginning to steward. You may feel less pressure to constantly prove progress. That urge is fading because confidence is taking its place. Confidence does not announce itself. It moves quietly, steadily, without apology. That is the posture you are stepping into now. Archangel Michael also speaks about protection again, but this time from distraction. As clarity increases, so does the temptation to overextend. But heaven is guarding your focus. You will find it easier to say no to things that do not align, not because they are wrong, but because they are unnecessary. Discernment saves energy. There may be moments when you look back at who you were even a few months ago and feel compassion instead of frustration. That compassion is healing. It means you are no longer judging yourself for what you did not know then. You are honoring the process that brought you here. The surprising news is closer than before, but Archangel Michael reminds you that anticipation should not replace presence. Stay present in today. Today carries its own grace. When the news arrives, it will meet you exactly where you are, not where you think you should be. You might also sense a renewed sense of responsibility toward your peace. You will protect it more intentionally, not aggressively but wisely. Peace is no longer negotiable. It is foundational. Anything that threatens it will be addressed with calm authority, not emotional reaction. Archangel Michael says this is the season where you stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. That habit is being broken gently. You are learning how to expect good without fear of disappointment. That expectation does not make you naive, it makes you aligned. Hold on to this awareness, because what unfolds next will connect this internal stability to external confirmation. This is where understanding deepens, and you will want to remain attentive as the picture becomes clearer. You'll thank yourself for staying present as this continues. As this part settles, take note of how your breathing feels, how your thoughts slow, how your heart rests more easily. These are not small changes. They are evidence that peace is no longer visiting, it is residing. You are not waiting for life to calm down. You are becoming calm within life. And that is the posture that allows blessing to remain without fear. Archangel Michael stands watchfully and affirms this truth. What is being established now will not require constant maintenance. It will be sustained by alignment. And alignment, once set, carries its own momentum. Let this awareness anchor you. You are exactly where you need to be as the unfolding continues. Beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with clarity and firmness, because this stage is about participation. Not striving, not forcing, but conscious cooperation with what God is doing. He says many people receive blessings, but few know how to stay aligned with them. This message is guiding you into that alignment, so what enters your home will not fade, drift, or weaken with time. You may feel a growing sense of responsibility toward your choices. Not pressure, but awareness. Small decisions will start to matter more, not because of fear, but because you are more present. Archangel Michael says awareness is the doorway to wisdom. You are no longer living on autopilot. You are living intentionally, and intention protects blessing. The surprising news connected to your home will require you to trust your discernment more than outside opinions. People may have suggestions, reactions, or advice, but only one voice will feel settled in your spirit. That is the voice you follow. You are not being guided by noise anymore. You are being guided by peace. There is also a shift happening in how you value yourself. You are beginning to understand that access to you is earned, not automatic. This understanding will change how others treat you, even if they don't realize why. Respect follows self-respect, and self-respect grows when you stop over-explaining your worth. Archangel Michael reminds you that consistency matters in seasons like this. Staying connected to messages that sharpen your discernment keeps your spirit tuned. That is why engaging here is important. When you like this message, when you share it, when you comment, you are not just interacting. You are staying spiritually attentive. Subscribing keeps you aligned with words that arrive when timing is critical, not random. You may notice that distractions lose their appeal. Things that once consumed your attention no longer hold the same power. This is not boredom. It is clarity. When purpose becomes clearer, distraction becomes obvious. Heaven is simplifying your focus so you can steward what is coming without dilution. Archangel Michael also speaks about courage. Not dramatic courage, but quiet courage. The courage to choose peace over proving a point. The courage to wait instead of rushing. The courage to say no without guilt. These forms of courage will protect what enters your home. Do not be surprised if you feel prompted to adjust routines, schedules, or priorities. These adjustments are not sacrifices, they are alignments. When God adds something new, He often rearranges what already exists so it fits naturally. Trust those promptings. There is a reminder here not to romanticize the past. The past served its purpose, but it is not your reference point anymore. You are not returning to who you were, you are continuing as who you have become. That distinction matters. Archangel Michael reassures you that you are not missing anything by moving slowly and intentionally. Speed does not equal success. Stability does. And stability is what allows blessing to remain without stress. If this message continues to resonate, take a moment to acknowledge it publicly. Commenting is not about visibility, it is about agreement. Agreement strengthens alignment. And sharing this message may be the confirmation someone else's home is waiting for. There may be moments soon when you are tempted to question if you are doing enough. Release the thought. You are doing what is required for this season. Overdoing can disrupt peace just as much as neglect can. Balance is your protection now. Archangel Michael also highlights gratitude again, but in a deeper way. Gratitude not just for outcomes, but for growth. When you thank God for who you are becoming, you align with where you are going. Gratitude shifts perspective, and perspective shapes experience. As this unfolds, remain patient with others. Not everyone will understand your calm, your boundaries, or your choices. But it is okay. Understanding is not required for alignment. Peace does not need permission. Trust that what is being built now is solid. It does not require constant reassurance. It does not need to be defended. It simply needs to be stewarded with wisdom. This surprising news is part of a larger picture, one that will continue to reveal itself gradually. Do not rush to see the whole thing at once. Each layer will arrive when it can be carried with peace. Archangel Michael stands firm and declares that you are not behind, not lacking, and not uncertain. You are aligned, and alignment carries its own authority. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Stay connected. What is unfolding is steady, intentional, and protected. Beloved one, Archangel Michael now speaks with a sense of completion drawing near, though not an ending, but a settling. He says this stage is about integration. Everything you have heard, felt, and understood so far is beginning to merge into a single awareness. You are no longer holding fragmented pieces of insight. They are forming a coherent foundation inside you. And from this foundation, peace becomes natural rather than practiced. You may notice that you are no longer waiting in the same way you once did. Earlier, waiting felt heavy, uncertain, and emotionally charged. And now, waiting feels calm, almost neutral. That shift is significant. It means your hope is no longer tied to urgency. It is anchored in trust. Archangel Michael says when waiting loses anxiety, manifestation draws near. The surprising news connected to your home is now surrounded by readiness on multiple levels. Not just spiritual readiness, but emotional and practical readiness as well. You are thinking more clearly. You are reacting less impulsively. You are responding instead of reacting. These are all signs that your inner environment is prepared to host what is coming without disruption. There is also a quiet confidence emerging in how you see your future. You are no longer afraid to imagine stability. In the past, imagining peace felt risky, as if expecting too much could invite disappointment. That fear is dissolving. You are learning that hope does not cause loss. Fear does. And fear is no longer leading your thoughts. Archangel Michael reveals that your home will soon carry a different tone of conversation. Topics that once felt tense will feel manageable. Decisions that once caused disagreement will find resolution more easily. This does not mean everyone suddenly agrees, but it does mean understanding increases. Understanding lowers resistance, and lower resistance allows harmony to grow. You may also sense a shift in how you interpret silence. Silence no longer feels like absence. It feels like rest. That is because you are no longer equating noise with progress. Some of the most important changes happen quietly. Heaven does not always announce movement. Sometimes it simply completes it. Archangel Michael speaks now about self-trust. He says you have learned enough, endured enough, and observed enough to trust your judgment. You are no longer easily swayed by urgency, pressure, or fear-based opinions. You pause. You sense. You decide. That process protects you. There's also a release of old internal conflicts happening. Questions like, am I doing enough? Or did I choose correctly? Are losing their emotional charge. You are not replaying them as often. And when they do arise, they pass quickly. That is evidence of inner resolution. As the days progress, you may notice that gratitude comes more easily, even without dramatic reasons. You feel thankful simply because things feel steady. That steadiness is not accidental. It is cultivated, and it is rare. Heaven values those who can remain grounded when nothing is being demanded of them. Archangel Michael says that after the surprising news arrives, you will not feel the need to rush into action. You will feel a calm sense of now I see. That clarity will guide your next steps naturally. When direction is clear, urgency is unnecessary. Be attentive to how your body responds to this season. Relaxation may feel unfamiliar at first. That is normal. You are adjusting to a new baseline. A baseline of peace rather than tension. Allow that adjustment. Do not question it. There may also be a gentle grieving for the version of yourself that struggled longer than necessary. Let that grief pass through without judgment. He honors the journey, and honoring the journey prevents you from repeating it. Archangel Michael assures you that what is being integrated now will remain. This is not a temporary phase. It is a foundation. Foundations do not shift easily. They hold weight. They support growth. You are not being rushed into the future. You are being rooted in the present. And from that rootedness, the future unfolds without strain. Notice how you are no longer asking for signs in the same way. You are noticing them instead. That awareness is maturity. It means your perception has sharpened. As this part of the message settles, allow yourself to simply be. Not to analyze. Not to anticipate. Just to be present. Presence is where peace lives, and peace is where God often speaks most clearly. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, not instructing, not warning, but affirming. He affirms that you are prepared, positioned, and protected. What is left is not effort, but trust. And trust, once established, carries you forward without resistance. You are steady. You are ready. And your home is about to reflect that stability in a tangible way. My beloved child, Archangel Michael now speaks with final authority and deep assurance, because this is the moment of sealing. Not an ending, but a confirmation. He says everything that needed to be aligned has been aligned. Everything that needed to be removed has been lifted. Everything that needed to mature has matured. What remains now is reception. You are no longer standing at the door wondering if it will open. You are standing inside, ready to live differently. The surprising news connected to your home was never meant to overwhelm you. That is why it waited. Heaven does not release answers into chaos. It releases them into readiness. And readiness is exactly what you carry now. You are not anxious. You are not desperate. You are calm, aware, and grounded. That posture is rare, and it is powerful. Archangel Michael says this moment marks a shift in how your life will respond to pressure. Pressure will no longer collapse you inward. It will clarify you outward. When challenges appear, they will meet wisdom instead of fear. When decisions are required, they will meet peace instead of confusion. This is not because life becomes easier, but because you become steady. Your home will begin to reflect this seal in tangible ways. Conversations will carry more understanding. Rest will feel deeper. Even unresolved matters will feel less heavy because they are no longer controlling your emotions. Peace does not mean everything is solved. It means nothing owns you. There is also release happening around your future. You are no longer afraid to think ahead. You are no longer hesitant to imagine stability. Hope no longer feels fragile to you. It feels grounded. That is a sign that fear has lost its influence. Archangel Michael speaks now about authority. He says you are stepping into a season where your presence itself will bring calm. People will feel safe around you, not because you have answers, but because you carry peace. That peace is not manufactured. It is earned through endurance, patience, and trust. Do not underestimate what has happened within you through this journey. You did not just wait. You transformed. You learned how to trust without demanding, how to hope without rushing, how to stand without hardening. That inner work is what makes outer blessings sustainable. As this message seals, Archangel Michael releases a final ritual of agreement. Type "I walk in divine order" in the comments if this word has reached your spirit. Blessing code 2024 is now activated over your home. Now receive this final transition carefully, because it flows directly from what heaven has just sealed. When God completes a work in someone, He often invites them to become a channel for others. Not by effort, but by obedience. I am speaking to you now as someone who has just received light. This message did not arrive randomly. It arrived because there are still homes waiting, still hearts listening, still souls needing reassurance. When you choose to support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed from the link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are opening doors for God to enter other homes the same way He entered yours. God is speaking now, saying that those who sow into the spreading of His word will never lack direction, provision, or peace. Your giving becomes seed in good soil. It becomes oil that keeps the fire burning, manna that feeds the hungry, and light that reaches places you may never see but heaven records. I am directly inviting you in this moment, because this act is prophetic. Just as you were told to open immediately, this is a moment to respond immediately. What you release now will return in multiplied form, touching your household in ways that feel unmistakably divine. I speak blessing over every giver, every supporter, every partner of this mission. May doors open where there were walls. May peace multiply where there was pressure. May provision flow where there was lack. Do not hesitate. Obey this prompting. Support the work that reached you. And watch how God continues to move through your home with clarity, authority, and peace.